Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Hi, Rochelle. Hi, Britt. Thank you. Welcome, Deirdre. Welcome, Scorpio season. Hi, Susie. So, thank you all for joining here today. And I'd like to start with coming together in a closed eye space. And I'm going to activate the Reiki now and just take a moment to ground into what we're doing here and now in this moment, gathering our energies together individually and collectively. Hi, Tony. And then we will dive into our session for today. So if you care to join in right now, closing the eyes, breathing, focusing on the breath. We're always breathing. Letting each breath in anchor us into this here and now moment. As we exhale, just releasing, letting go, letting go, letting go. Letting go to the best of your ability. Anything that's not present right here and now. So whatever is in your actual space that you're in, where your body is, unless something is active in your physical space, letting it go. Because anything outside of that is just in your mind, and it's past or future, and it's not present here and now. Breathing into the heart. And appreciating the heart. Thanking the heart for its nature. As Michael Singer says, the heart creates the soundtrack of our lives. It communicates in a symphony. So when we can appreciate and allow the symphony of the heart, all of the beautiful notes, the 10,000 joys, the 10,000 sorrows, the 10,000 things that make up our life experience, and that beautiful soundtrack that the heart always plays in the background. Thank you, heart. Thanking the body in which the energetic and physical heart is surrounded by. The marvel of the body that keeps us anchored to this three-dimensional reality. Thanking the body for the miracles of every millisecond that it takes for this body to be alive. Thanking the mind and its nature. The mind's nature is to figure things out, to plan, to analyze, to make sense of. That is its nature. Thanking the mind for its nature and noticing any judgment around its nature and releasing that. It's so easy to want to demonize the mind and make it wrong when it's actually just, as Singer also says, trying to fulfill the job that we gave it to solve all our problems. So we are not the body, we are not the heart, we are not the mind, we are the witness of all of these things. We are the loving awareness behind those things. Because we can observe and witness these, we are not it. So tuning into that loving I. And from this space is where we can access forgiveness, which is our topic for today. From the loving awareness of all that is, the timeless, infinite part of ourself. This is where we can surrender, we can we can let go, we can allow the heart to do as it is and play the music that it is, allow the mind to play and be the monkey mind and chatter as it does, allow the body to be as it is. And we can rest in the I am. So bringing loving kindness and presence. And if you choose to just take in the teaching for today, remaining in this relaxed, closed-eye space, or if you want to transition back to wakefulness as we dive deeper, you do as you choose. And if you are new to me, I know many friends are here. Nice to see all of you. If you're returning or new guests, I'm Natalie. I'm a spiritual life coach, Reiki master teacher, and intuitive. Please give me a follow if you care to. Here on Insight Timer, I'm also dual live streaming on YouTube. You can subscribe there, follow on Instagram, Facebook. Insight Timer did notify the teachers yesterday that there's a issue with Apple with the donations, and that of course I welcome and appreciate all donations, and also right now it's preferred that you donate outside of the live event because of a situation with Apple right now and their fees and things. So if you care to donate, please do that outside of this screen of the live stream. And that's appreciated. So, so the topic for today, and I have already also channeled Reiki healing energy. It's flowing to those who care to receive it. And if you are hearing the replay, it also is accessible through the replay as well. We're going to be talking about forgiveness today, and also using Ho'oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian healing mantra prayer, and how that can help us with forgiveness. Also, the ancestral clearing work that I do, that's so amazing and powerful, that many of you have experienced either one-on-one and or here in the live sessions. It actually is a forgiveness practice. And if you care to experience the ancestral clearing as far as the prayer goes, you can hear it in my meditations here in the app. It's called the Master Prayer. And I will be bringing that in a bit later in the session before we close. So stay tuned for that. We'll dive a little bit deeper. Is there anybody here who does not know what Ho'oponopono is? Ho'oponopono. And as I get information about that, I also want to share something that was really impactful for me the other day in a teaching I was listening to around forgiveness from a Buddhist teacher. And he said something like, because the meditation was on loving kindness, and he said that forgiveness is an act of loving kindness. Forgiveness is an act of loving kindness. And that really hit for me, in that when we think about forgiveness, it means forgive. It means like an offering up. It means a releasing, a letting go. It doesn't mean that whatever it was, if we forgive, that it was okay. It's simply a releasing of what I consider the emotional and energetic tie to that situation that keeps us bound. And so when we forgive, it's like an offering up and a releasing and a letting go. And when we do this from a space of loving kindness, and we can do this from a space of, it's an act of loving kindness towards ourselves. When I think about a situation that there's an opportunity to forgive, if I think of it in this context of, this is an act of loving kindness for myself, first and foremost, and for the other, but when we get into the field of thinking of the other, it can get sticky, right? Because then the stories can come in. So depending on where you're at with forgiveness and how much charge there is around the person or situation, you can at least start with, this is an act of loving kindness towards myself that I offer and I forgive. So we want to look at this ancient Hawaiian healing mantra, Ho'oponopono. And it's made up of 4 parts when it's translated into English. The parts are: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And we can use these mantras, this prayer, in any order in which we like. And we can use it in any context in which it comes up. So anywhere, from the things of like the biggest devastations or hurts that we have with others, we can use it in those situations, down to the person pulling out in front of us in traffic. Right? So it's like globally, universally applicable. So is everybody with me so far? Is there any questions or comments? I think I saved it, but there was this little graphic that I found helpful that kind of breaks down the I thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. And I know usually when I do this live stream, this topic, I go into kind of the history of Ho'oponopono, which is an interesting story. I know many of you have heard it before. So I can share that because it can be powerful to hear, and also I can skip that if you all know that already. And it looks like I cannot find the graphic that had the info that I wanted to share about Ho'oponopono. Let me check one other way. Yeah. I think it's lost in my thousands of screenshots. So we'll just dive into like how we work with this prayer and how, it can help you. So if we think about the 4 parts, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. And we can use those in any order we choose. So what I'd like for you to do is think about somebody you want to forgive, not need to, but want to. And it could be yourself, it could be others. And if we think about the first prayer that I like to start with is thank you. One of my life coaches brought this way of working with the prayer in, and I've loved it, and that's been the way I've done it since he brought that to me 3 years ago almost, which is starting with thank you. Starting with thank you for showing me what is still unhealed within me. Thank you. So whatever the situation is, whatever this person is, whatever they are activating inside of us, shows that there's something unhealed here within us, that this out here is activating. So we start with thank you. Thank you for showing me what is still unhealed within me that is ready to be healed. This goes into another idea I love about everyone is a messenger. And this is from the Presence Process, which is an amazing book. So when thinking of it this way, everyone is a messenger. Messengers to bring up something within us that is unhealed, that is ready to be healed, because that's why it's here right now. Lindsay, love that. So thank you. And then we go into I'm sorry. And again, you can do with this any way you choose. But when you're using the thank you first, it kind of makes sense to then say I'm sorry. So the I'm sorry is I'm sorry for whatever part I played in this, this situation being here right now. And the way that I work with that is thinking about, karmically, whatever is still unhealed, the wounded parts, anything maybe from past or future lifetimes. There's so much more going on here than we could ever fathom. So I'm sorry for whatever that is within me. So it's really a being responsible. And this is part of this prayer is so deep and powerful, and we just skim the surface here. So there's a book by Joe Vitale which brought this teaching to America. And it goes into these very deep layers. But basically, to keep it simple, I'm sorry for my part in whatever is at play here. So it's being 100% responsible. And it removes being a victim. It's so natural and common when there's a dynamic of we, quote, need or to forgive somebody, or there's something somebody did to us. It's very natural and common to go into victim. And yes, of course, there are situations in which we are a victim, and also there's such a bigger picture here than we can even fathom that we don't know. And so the I'm sorry is the acknowledgement of that which we can't see, we don't know, we don't have all the information. Or maybe we do. But it's owning our part in being responsible. So thank you for showing me what is still unhealed within me that's ready to be healed. I'm sorry for my part in that, known or unknown. Because we are all one. We are ultimately all, we are all one. We're in the illusion of separation. So this is another reason why this is so powerful. And then the next part is please forgive me. And again, we can do this with ourselves. If it's with another, then we offer that up. Because if we're being 100% responsible, then we have a part somewhere. And these topics are not easy pills to swallow until they are. And, in my work as a life coach and even in Reiki and ancestral clearing work that I do, this can come up. And it's about when we come into being responsible for everything in our world, we go from being totally powerless and trapped to being empowered and in total power. And total power is total freedom and total responsibility. So being in, please forgive me for my part, whatever that may be, even if it's not known in the moment. In the moment, it might look like, the scenario and the situation that you can see with your mind and your awareness of where you're at now. And there's so much more than just this going on. So I'm glad this is helpful, wonderful to hear. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Katian. And then the last part is, I love you. I love you. I believe that God, Source, Creator is love, is that loving awareness. And so it's coming back to love. Because ultimately love is all there is. And when we are in non-forgiveness, we are blocking the flow of love. So then it's like a namaste. It's, namaste is the divinity in me, acknowledges the divinity in you. So when we say I love you, it's a similar energy. Okay. So is this helpful so far? Is this landing? So how can you use this out in your world? I mean, you can do very mindful, very heartful, heartfelt, intentional work with this prayer. I mean, you can make it as sacred as you choose, just like every moment of our lives, where you can have a space where you take space and you light a candle and you connect and you really bring this person to mind. And you really feel, you can imagine them in front of you. You can feel into each part of this prayer. And then releasing the outcome, because so often we're driven by, we do this because we want to feel better. Can anyone relate to that other than me? And that's okay. And also the higher level is we're doing this without an attachment to results. That we're just doing it to do it because it's what's here in front of us. And that there was, whatever, the thing came up in our mind, the situation happened. And just being like, okay, this is what the present moment is asking of me right now. And so I'm going to do this now because it's what's here, and just surrender and trust and let go. Wonderful. Okay, to hear that. And yeah, I can relate. Emotional exhaustion. I'm sure there's others here. I know there is. So, yes. So you can use it in a very intentional way. And you may have a miracle in one moment. You may have a shift of perception. That's all a miracle is. A shift in perception. That's a miracle. You may have a miracle in a moment, or you may not. But again, you don't know, there's so much more going on here than we could ever know with our limited human perspective. So you don't know what this is doing. So releasing any expectation or idea that, okay, I'm going to say this prayer and I'm going to feel better and I'm going to feel a release, or they're going to change, or something's going to happen. That's a very two-dimensional way of thinking. You know, doing something, something will happen that I want to happen. That's not the universe we live in, the multiverse we live in. So you don't know when you do this practice the quantum effects it can have, and if and when you may feel some sort of perceived result. So it's really letting go of expectations. And I love that point, Kay, because, and especially around parents, I mean, me in this lifetime, for me, it's forgiveness of mother. And it's about releasing waiting for them to be any different or to come around or to apologize. Really. I picture, when I think about this, as like little Natalie, my inner child, sitting on the front porch of the childhood home, waiting and waiting and waiting for mother to come home. And not the mother that she has, but the fantasy mother that she always wanted. Little Natalie is going to be waiting. I mean, I'm 47 now, so however much longer I live, she's going to be waiting for that fantasy version that's never going to come. I am that fantasy version that little Natalie is waiting for. Me now, in my wise, connected self, when I'm not activated by the inner child. So you are the one that you've been waiting for. So anything where we're wanting the other person, no matter who they are, to do something or to change, any expectation that this forgiveness process is going to facilitate something in outside there of us, we've got to let go of thinking somebody or someone's coming to save us, or that they are going to change. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Oh, nice. So if you recognize that dynamic happening, it's good that you notice. And so then you can come back to even doing the Ho'oponopono around that. Thank you. Thanking ourselves. Thank you for showing me this right here and right now. I'm sorry. Because it's really a form of self-abandonment when we put this responsibility on somebody else needing to change, or waiting for them to come and forgive and be everything we wanted them to be. When we do that, we're giving all our power away, and then nobody's here. So we can practice this. I mean, this is applicable, this prayer, everywhere. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And this would be a self-forgiveness. Please forgive me. Or like we could do it with our inner child. I love you. In the Joe Vitale Zero Limits book, he talks about that really. So the kind of Hawaiian man that popularized this prayer brought it to Joe Vitale or whatever. They recommend you just repeat this all day long as a never-ending mantra in your mind, because we are always full of judgment, and judgment is a call to forgiveness. So anytime there's a judgment, there's a place to forgive. And so basically, if you want to really live this practice, it's something you can live every moment. that just have the, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. You can add in at the end, I forgive myself, if you choose. But if you're like me, who has constant judgments just running because I'm a human being, then there's a constant call for love. I think it's A Course in Miracles says everything is either love or a call to love. So even this. And where there's the biggest wound that looks like the biggest thing to forgive is the biggest possibility for there to be the most love and the biggest breakthrough. So you can just pray this all day long as a mantra in your mind. Thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. I do this when I'm driving because there's a lot to forgive out there on the road in Bali, here where I live. I mean, according to my mind. The mind just wants everybody to do what it thinks it should do, which is ridiculous. And Michael Singer would say, how dare you? So I just run that as I'm driving. And then you can also do it very intentionally. So another aspect of this, which is included in Ho'oponopono, is this idea of blessing others. Because really it is a form of blessing. Thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. Right, Lindsay? Another way that I'm working with these energies is, because I have practiced a lot over the years of this, just living this prayer. And there's a book called The Gentle Art of Blessing that my favorite life coach, Steve Hardison, talks about all the time. And it's a short book on YouTube I heard recently. I found it and listened to it. But it's basically because of the judgment that's the current in which the mind swims until it doesn't, that we have an automatic reaction to judge. And so then we can retrain ourselves either with Ho'oponopono and whatever else you want to use, we can bless. So a wonderful practice is noticing the judgment comes up when you see the person or you're interacting or whatever, and you just start blessing them in your mind, to the best of your ability, with your heart, like as sincerely as you can. And if you aren't, that's okay, do it anyway. But just, I bless you, I wish you well, I wish you have blessings of love, and that your life is filled with love, that they are healthy. I wish you blessings, peace. I wish good things happen for you, that your heart's desires are come true. And in the book, it gives some powerful examples of blessings and the results. So what's opening up for you as you hear this today? And if you have joined in a little bit late, there is no late in my mind, but you can, if you don't already, I'd love for you to follow me here on Insight Timer. I'm also on YouTube streaming now. Subscribe there. You can catch replays there. All the replays here are there. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram if you want to dive deeper into this powerful work and are looking to up-level your life. Reach out and let's set up a conversation, see if we might be a good fit to work together. And I also do individual ancestral clearing and Reiki sessions and tarot card readings. And I do all of these things here on Insight Timer as well. If you do care to give a donation, if you missed that part earlier, at this moment it's recommended you do it outside of this live stream because of this situation with Apple. So you can donate just on my teacher profile if you care to. Thank you. So Deirdre, I love that you're asking this because if earlier you heard me talk about 100% responsibility, and that if there's something outside of us bringing up something within that we feel that needs forgiveness, that means there's something unhealed within us, and that everyone's a messenger. So basically it's the same thing on a world collective level. So if there is war in the world, there is war in ourselves. So we get to look at our own, we are all 100% responsible for that war, or any war. And until war is healed within ourselves, it's going to show up in our outer reality. So this is, again, like I said earlier, this is a big pill to swallow. And yet, it's what I said, it's 100% responsibility. In the book, Zero Limits, goes into this very eloquently, and I don't even want to try because I'll mess it up. But basically, we're responsible for everything that's happening on our planet. We are personally responsible for it. And yes, I know that minds are going to be arguing with that. And my mind can too. The good news is that when we come into this place of 100% responsibility, it means 100% freedom and empowerment. And we are all one. And so how can we heal the war, or heal the world, heal the war, heal the world, heal ourselves? And it can be with this here right now. So the book Zero Limits is called that because it talks about, and I can't articulate it, I need to revisit the book to grasp the topics a bit deeper, but it talks about bringing things down to zero, like a zero charge, and that using Ho'oponopono until you bring whatever is activated to a zero within, then it's cleared and healed. So if you're hearing this now, you're ready for it. This teaching's not for everyone because, it just isn't. It's not easy. But again, we go from victim to responsible with this way of looking at things. And if you do believe we are all one, it makes sense and it fits in. I listened to David G's meditation, Peace in the Heart, here on Insight Timer. I love that one. And there's a quote in the beginning, I think it's Lao Tzu. It says, if you want peace in the world, you have peace in the home. If you want peace in your blah, blah, peace in the blah. And if you want peace in your home, you have peace in your heart. And Byron Katie's The Work also ties in beautifully to all of this. So we're going to close off here in a moment with some Reiki and ancestral clearing. And then we'll close for the day. So yes, Kay, I've been practicing this and work around that for years with the beautiful lesson of Mother. And as I've outlined it, you can use it in that way. And also, I've shared this before in the Forgiveness Lives. Master Stephen Coe, that does the prana healing. He has a powerful forgiveness practice on YouTube. If anybody wants the link, send me a message. But it basically goes through a whole prayer and a cord cutting, and he's channeling energy during this, and he says you can do it every day. So for some, yes, miracles can happen in an instant, and also you can do it every day, just like the ancestral clearing prayer. And this stuff works quantumly, so we don't, it's not going to be linear. So let go of any idea of, I do this and this will happen. And when we heal things, and, our soul exists outside of time. Our body is within our soul. Our soul is infinite and timeless. And in our soul, all of our lifetimes are happening now. And because of that, when we forgive, it affects not only us here and who we believe ourselves to be right now, but it also affects all of our other lifetimes. So it's a quantum effect. So we can't think linearly about this stuff. Lindsay, yeah, I love that question. So, and this is just my belief, and it's not something I made up by any means. It's a very common and belief. And and Lindsay and anyone that wants to know more, if you read Conversations with God, that will deeply answer your question. And that book, if you know me, you've heard me talk about it. It's a life changer. It explains the nature of existence in the universe in the beginning of the book, so you don't have to wait very long to get it. It's a very deep teaching. It also is on YouTube as the audio book. I can send you the link there too. Great. But basically, in the beginning there was God, and that was all there was. So there was just one field of infinite energy, and this God, this field, and this infinite energy, the benevolent, loving kindness, wanted to experience itself, but it couldn't because it was all there was only one. So it created duality. It created relationship. From the one, it split itself so that it could be able to know itself. And this is where, this illusion of separation came, because it's still all one. But in order for God to know itself, it had to know itself as not God. And then it split into infinite pieces. And so our journey is to remember who we are and wake up from this illusion of separation, which is why when we talk about personal responsibility and that we are responsible for everything, this is why. Another way to think of it that people talk about is the holographic universe. A hologram within it holds the image of the whole. within each piece. So that's a whole other journey. So we've got a few minutes left here, so we'll go ahead and dive in for these. Yeah, it is. And so I love that you asked. When you ask, when you're ready, the teacher appears. And not, I mean, I'm a student that believes and loves these, so teaching, so I'm just passing on information. And it is. So if you care to join me now, closing the eyes, taking a pause and just letting all of this be. You don't need to figure it out, just letting it sink into your consciousness, your awareness. You know, at this moment, you don't need to figure out anything. You can just relax, surrender, let go, trust your higher, deeper knowing. Feeling the love of the divine, the love of your ancestors, guides, angels, your spiritual team surrounding you. You're never alone. It's impossible to be alone because there is no separation. And just feeling into the energy of Ho'oponopono. Thank you. Thank you, Source. Thank you, person. Thank you, situation, for showing me what is still unhealed, what is ready to be healed now. Thank you. Feeling gratitude for the messenger. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my part. I'm sorry for my role, whatever that may be, known or unknown, that has created this situation. I'm sorry to myself. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for my own part in unconsciousness, for when I've lost consciousness, for when I've forgotten, for anywhere in my own life or any lives where I have treated others in unconscious ways. Please forgive me. I love you. I love you because you are me and I am you and we are one. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I forgive myself for when I went unconscious, when I betrayed myself, when I forgot, for when I acted out of my own wounding. I forgive myself. And just allowing this ancestral clearing prayer to do its work, trusting that you will receive and you are receiving whatever is needed for you in your best and highest good right now. Infinite Creator, Source of all that is, we love you. Thank you for loving us. We humbly ask that you open, bless, expand, lead, guide, and direct us into your perfect light, love, and life, and always completely now and forever. Please and thank you. For everyone hearing this message and this prayer right now, for all of our family members, all of our relationships, all of our ancestors and all of their relationships through all relevant time, space, and dimension. For all hurts, wrongs, judgments, and burdens, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, and financial, through thought, word, or deed. Please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally, please and thank you. For all suicide, incest, murder, rape, abortion, infidelity, and miscarriage, through thought, word, or deed, please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally, please and thank you. For all times we abandoned or were abandoned, emotionally, physically, or financially. For all times we weren't nurtured, loved, supported, and cherished in the ways that we needed at any time. And for times when we didn't nurture, love, support, or cherish others. For all let down in our lives and lineages. For all times we created war or had war within ourselves. Please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally, please and thank you. Infinite Creator, for the highest good, please lift out all weight, pain, burden, sin, death, debt, negativity, spells, hexes, curses, black magic, white magic, guilt, fear, shame, unworthiness, and limitation of all kind. Any times there was war within or war without. Please help us love and bless each other. Help us love and forgive each other. Forgive ourselves. Forgive all people, and all people forgive us. Completely and totally, please and thank you. Please help us love and bless each other, love and bless ourselves, be at peace with each other and at peace with ourselves. Please and thank you. Please and thank you, please and thank you. So thank you so much for joining here today in this very powerful session. Don't forget to follow me here, give a donation if you'd like, subscribe, follow on Insta and Facebook and YouTube. I will see you all for the next live stream. It's scheduled. Thank you, Astrid. Excuse me. You can catch this replay, listen to it as many times as you'd like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm loving you all. Sending peace, love, and blessings. Namaste. Bye-bye.